Not that I need more projects. $100 with a title. 07 Eclipse. Car's been parked for a year. They said a year ago it just stopped running. It's in fairly decent shape other than the dashboard falling apart. It's an auto. Got a bunch of extra parts, new exhaust system. It's got the factory steering wheel that comes with it. So they had to leave today. They asked me yesterday if I wanted it. Sure. Didn't even get a chance to look at it. Loaded it up on our trailer. Paid $100. Brought it home. Put a battery in it. No compression. So first thing I thought was timing belt failure. This is a Mitsubishi 4G69, which is an interference engine. If a timing belt fails, then there's catastrophic damage. The pistons hit the valves and cause a lot of damage. But the belt didn't break. The belt is loose, really loose. You can't really see that good, but I can slide the belt off by hand. You shouldn't be able to slide the belt off by hand, so that tells me the tensioner failed. I think it's a all pressure tensioner. Either the tensioner failed or got stuck, or it engine developed low oil pressure and allowed the belt to jump time. Now I won't know if there's valve or piston damage until I pull the head. But before I pull the head, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do the timing belt swap, put it in time and see what we got. Car's got 173,000 miles. The car's in decent shape. It's not terrible, it's not perfect. You know, all the plastics are cracking up on it. Except dashboard issues, which is common. The plastic's all cracked up underneath this cover. Dashboard's all broken and glued together, and this, you know, peeling off. Sunroof works, power windows work. Everything seems to work, except for the engine. Even the tires are in good shape. It's got a few broken lights, scuffs. Like I said, before I determine how far I'm gonna go with this car, I figured $100. I'll look into it. If it's too much for me to invest in, then scrapyard. I'll get $150 for it. Well, I'm gonna lose money that I'm gonna pay for the title, so maybe I shouldn't swap the title over until I determine what's actually wrong with the engine. But yeah, haven't done a car project in a while, and I definitely don't make videos about car projects. But I grew up working on cars and done a lot of work on imports. It's my hands are my limiting factor. Since my disability, I don't really do much mechanic work. But I figure if I can get this car to run for relatively cheap, hopefully I can just put a new timing belt, put in time, and hopefully there's no valve train damage, which is highly unlikely. But if I get the car running and driving, I can teach my son how to drive in this car. I call this a throwaway car. If something happens to it, you just throw it away. It's perfect for that. I will say the kid who owned it, he's a family friend. He said he doesn't know nothing about cars. He had a friend work on it and told him the computer was bad, that it needed a new ECU. But when I get it here, it's got no compression, and all the valve cover bolts, spark plug, everything was loose. It was all hand tight. So someone had tore down into this already and determined the problem. Either they didn't tell him or he didn't tell me, which is fine either way. It's $100. So yeah, if I do any updates, if I get it run, I'll post a video. Thank you all for watching. Welcome back to the Project Eclipse, $100 Eclipse update. Found the problem. The timing was off by 5 teeth. The cam was advanced 5 teeth. And the reason being, well, I noticed metal shavings when I pulled the top half of the timing cover off. I do have the valve cover loose. All the valves are operational. It doesn't appear that the pistons hit the valves. Someone must have recently changed the timing belt. And I'll tell you why I say that. Timing belt's not old. You can see the water pump is grinded right here. To adjust the timing tension, you break loose this nut, it's a 14 millimeter. This is a cam that rolls, and as it rolls, this idler pulley shifts in and out. Someone adjusted it to where the cam was all the way up here, and when the oil pressure, this is operates on oil pressure. When the engine cranks, oil pressure pushes up on this and it forces the timing belt tighter. Well, when it forced it up, it was grinding the idler pulley into the water pump housing, because I noticed some aluminum shavings. So the cam was off by 5 teeth, and so was the oil pump was off by 5 teeth. So I've got the timing belt back on, it's tension, everything's tight. Now I'm gonna work on putting the timing cover back on, because the sensor has to be plugged in, and then I'm gonna try to fire it up. And if it does run, doesn't have any major mechanical problems, then my next step is buy a new. I'm gonna buy a new belt. Probably a new water pump, even though that one's probably fine. Buy a new belt, a new timing set should come with the idler pulley. I'm debating on whether changing the oil pressure tensioner. It probably doesn't need to be changed, but I'm debating on doing that. I'm also going to change the camshaft balance belt. I don't know if when they changed the timing belt, the balance belt was changed. It doesn't look like an old belt. But a common failure of a timing belt is the balance belt pops and it takes out the timing belt. That's a common failure on many 4-cylinder engines, whether it's Honda, Nissan, Mitsubishi. You get the point. My dad's little Mitsubishi Mighty Max did the same thing about 6 or 8 months ago. The camshaft balance belt broke and it took out the timing belt. So it's a good habit whenever you change the timing belt to change that balance belt. But that's where I'm at. I had to do it with the wheel on, and I'll explain why. Damn locking lugs. I don't have the key for the locking lug. I don't have it, and I tried beating a socket over it. It wasn't working out. So I managed to do everything with the tire in place. But I'm gonna have to find the key, because eventually I'm gonna have to pull the tire off. I'm gonna have to buy a key. I did buy a Harbor Freight. It's a master locking lug socket set, and it showed a picture of a 6-point that I needed, but it's not it. And you know, it's a $100 kit, and if I return it to Harbor Freight, they're gonna charge me a restocking fee. So I knew I had to buy that to better pull the tire off to make it easier to access the timing. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put the timing cover back on, put the spark plugs back in, the coil packs, and we're gonna see if she's gonna fire up. She's either gonna make a lot of racket, that's good, or make a lot of racket, that's bad, or not fire up at all. My fear is it jumped time probably past the 5 teeth. It just settled back on the 5 teeth. This is an interference engine, which means the valves can't strike the pistons and cause a catastrophic engine damage. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I won't know until, well, I guess about an hour or so, when I put the bottom half of the timing cover. Only reason I gotta put the bottom half of the timing cover on because there's a sensor. Plugs in here and it stabs on. That's for the crank angle sensor, I believe. I'm not sure if it'll run with that unplugged. It definitely gonna throw a trouble code, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the bottom half of the cover on. And I'm not gonna put the accessory belts. I'm probably not even gonna put the top motor mount back on. Just gonna fire it up, hear if it runs, before I decide to invest money into this engine. I'll update y'all more later. And it's a no-go with the timing. I've checked the timing twice. It is in time. Sounds horrible. Still has no compression. Not enough compression to do anything. So I guess I'm gonna crank the engine over so you can hear what I'm talking about. So the valves probably contacted the pistons. I'm sure, as you know from that sound, she's not gonna run. I'll update more when I got more. Alright, the decision's been made. This car's gonna go on the back burner. I don't want to put the resources into it right now. after the time, and it still makes no compression and just makes a horrible sound. So I already fear the valves are ran to the pistons and cause catastrophic damage to the pistons. My next step, maybe in a few days, I'll pull the head and see how bad the damage is. But if it needs an engine replacement, I'm not ready to do that at this time. This is going to go on a back burner. Maybe I'll fix it, maybe I won't. I got $100 invested, so it cost me another $100 to get the title. So I'll be $200 invested in a car that needs an engine. That's not a great car by any means. These are throwaway cars. So if I decide to continue move forward with this project, I'll make an update video, but I don't see it being anytime soon. Well, thank y'all for tuning in.